Welcome everyone. Welcome to our Fast-Tracked Masterclass. G'day from all around the world. Let us know where you're coming in from. Send us a message. Throw us in the chat where you are streaming in from. Great to see everyone. I'm currently in Asia at the moment, scouting out some venues for our upcoming events. So got a little DIY job here in the hotel, but great to see everyone. G'day Courtney. Hey Travis, Michelle from Sydney. Let us know what country, what city. Hey, Kushla from NZ, Josh from Perth, Nick, Mel, we've got Matt, Sunny Coast, amazing. We've got 90 minutes of power today, so much to get through. Matt, myself, our Director of Research, and also Travis, our Head of Platinum today, going to get through the fast track session. So bringing everything together off the cuff. We don't have a lot of slides. We want to really just get into the weeds, get into the nitty gritty. The bull market is moving. Bitcoin touched all-time highs yesterday. Ethereum's on the move above 4,000. Hey, Jake from New Orleans. Josh from Noosa, Sue, morning from Goulburn, AJ from Toronto, Canada, brilliant. We've got people all around the world, already 240 tuning in for this fast track session. We're going to have absolutely no time to waste today, everyone. 90 minutes we're going to get stuck into. We're going to have 30 minutes of Q&A at the end. So I want to get stuck into it straight away. Really want to say welcome and congratulations to everyone for attending this bonus event. I know all of your time is valuable, so we're going to bring everything together in a 90-minute session. We ran a 3-hour masterclass last week. So what we've done is condense all of that and bring together all of the most important information for all of you that are busy and need everything in a really simple format. Now that the market's really moving, so we want you all to please use the chat in the sidebar there. We're also going to have some Q&A throughout, but we will have some time at the end. And then we have people all around the world joining today, so make sure you jump in. Let us know where you're coming in from. Welcome from Capri from Chicago, Gold Coast, Sydney. We've got Louisiana, amazing, Canada, Perth, everywhere, fantastic. Our member growth team is in the chat with you. Might actually bring up Reese if Reese is there. Reese is one of our member growth leads. Reese, you've been super busy, mate, talking to clients over the last couple of weeks. How's things been?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Obviously amazing to meet lots of new people, especially now all around the world as well. Calendar's open, so yeah, look, obviously I'm going to be here all day. Happy to speak to you guys, answer any questions, queries you have. Yeah, look, market's really kicking off now. We're getting to the really kind of exciting part, and yeah, let's just smash the end of it. And yeah, looking forward to speaking to you all throughout the day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Reese. So Reese will be in the chat if you guys need any assistance. And also for any of you that want to talk about our membership programs later on in the day, Reese's calendar will be open. So thank you, Reese. Sam, our Head of Client Success, is also in the chat. So if any of you have any questions, Sam will be there, as well as Alice, our amazing EA, who's also over in Asia at the moment, scouting out. So we've got our Platinum Elevate Day in Asia next year in March. We have a 3-day retreat for our Platinum clients, which we're over here scouting out some venues for, which is super exciting. So Alice will be in the chat for all of you that need some assistance as well. Quick reminder of who we are really quickly. I've been in crypto now for 9 years, been investing in Ethereum since $80. Really nice to see Ethereum back over 4,000 the last few days. Bitcoin in the early thousands. I'm a huge believer in crypto, and I've been able to make life-changing amounts of money in crypto, like genuine real money. And the reason we do this is now because we can help other people follow our process and come on the journey with us and also make life-changing results. And then we can all win together. That's the idea of Collective Shift. Now, really, our strategy comes down to a 7-step process. It's not luck. It's no hype. It's genuinely a process that we use ourselves. Currently, I'm still 100% allocated to crypto. Have been for nearly 9 years. All of our team are huge believers in the space, and we invest ourselves. And we started to teach this process, and the results piled in. And that was the start of Collective Shift. I wanted to really build a company that was based on trust and transparency, not the hype and craziness that happens on influencers on YouTube. I used to work for a crypto YouTube influencer and saw the inner workings. It's the Wild West. Paid promotion, affiliate links. It's just absolutely crazy. We wanted to build a business completely on trust and transparency, where it was only based on results and not by affiliate links and paid promotion, all the craziness. Just results, just aligned incentives. And we're lucky enough to now work with over 1,000 active paying clients around the world. We work with some of the largest exchanges and brokerages in the world as well. And the way we work is if our clients make money, well, then we make money. All right. And that is the business model. It's a win-win. There's no other way. We don't help our clients make money. They leave and cancel. We have a 30-day money back period and no one wins. So we really wanted to make it in line incentives because we know we do a good job. If you follow along and you do a good job, we can all make money together. And that's really different to a lot of people, other creators online. And now we're one of the world's leading crypto research companies because we focus on-chain data, fundamentals, and actual strategies to help you exit. We're not just talking about technical analysis and these crazy, lines and theories that don't really work. We actually get into the nitty-gritty, look on-chain, look at what money is moving, and really help you follow the process that we use. Thank you, Courtney. Big respect for being real and not affiliate links and influencer money grabs. The world needs more of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. This is the sort of stuff that like makes us who we are. All right. And I turned down hundreds of thousands of dollars in the first few years trying to build this business by people wanting to get in front of our audience. We don't do that. So yeah, I appreciate that, Courtney. Now, really quickly, I'm going to bring on Matt, our director of research, in a second. Matt is one of the best investors and analysts in the world. In the last cycle, he got and posted to our clients and members back at literally within 2 days at the bottom. Bitcoin's at $16,000 and called when the market was starting to turn. Solana at $22, now close to 180. Syrup has been one of my big winners. I took profits on this recently, up 1,000% in the middle of a bull market, not even at the top yet. Pendle was another one that Matt found, up 2,500%. A meme-fied project I recently took profits on it early in the cycle, up 1,000%. There's just so many like really, really great stories of this. And I want to bring Matt up on the stage briefly to introduce himself. Matt's our director of research. He leads our full analyst team. We're growing that. We're hiring research analysts at the moment, which is really exciting. And you've been killing it, mate. How's the bull market been?
Yeah, very, very fun at the moment, Ben. Bitcoin obviously doing its thing the past couple of years, and altcoins, really, starting to get going now, which is my favorite time. And the team here certainly, gets around, really, thrives in this environment. So yeah, looking forward to giving an update with Ben and some others in this call, and we'll answer some of your questions later as well. And yeah, lead the team of analysts here at Collective Shift, as Ben just said. A growing team of analysts. So yeah, we live and breathe crypto, have been doing so for many years now, and many years to come, I'm sure.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so Matt's about to jump on in a second. We're going to talk through the altcoin sectors, looking at the narratives, also hiring for analysts at the moment across the world. So we're really scaling our team in all parts of the world to really help all of our clients that are global based. We've got clients in the US, in the UK, in Dubai, in Europe, in Australia. We've got people everywhere. So it's really exciting to build this company, and Matt leads that team of analysts, which is exciting. Also want to bring up Travis, our head of growth, originally based in Florida, now works with our team and our clients really on their investor psychology mindset and our advisor to our high net worth clients. Trav, good to see you, man.
Yeah, great to be on. We've got some interesting content we're going to cover on mindset traps and some of the work I do one-on-one with our platinums and some of our pro members to work through what's getting in the way of you actually taking profits before the bear market comes around and we round trip, because that's everyone's worst phrase in our business. Is round tripping is the antithesis of what we're after. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. You'll hear more about that in a second.
Thank you so much, Travis. Yes, Travis is a performance and executive coach. You're going to help you guys just get a bit of an insight as to what we work with our clients on from a mindset perspective, because it is hard. People talk about mindset as this sort of woo-woo thing online, but genuinely, if you look behind, the actual, psychology of a bull market, like euphoria, greed gets out of control. And that's why people don't sell. So we're going to talk about that today in the session as well. Now, this is what we heard from the masterclass we held last week. So we had nearly 1,500 people join live last week, and we heard that you were just too busy. You didn't have time to stay on the top of the market anymore. Some of you had to drop off because it went too long. And what we want to do is condense this. So Ron is actually one of our clients. He joined up and talks about how much time and stress saved by just following our strategy, not having to tune in to the markets and YouTube every day, just being able to cut the time and level up his results by working with us has been a huge level up for him. The other things we heard, I had no strategy or plan, and I'm just winging it right now. I'm just following what my friend said at work. Well, Chris was in the same boat. Chris is actually a busy dad. He's a consultant. He had a lot of crypto. Didn't really know what he was doing. Came to us. I worked with him one-on-one, helped him build his sell strategy, and he actually sold 2 Bitcoin at the November top, paid off his house, and now he's living debt-free. All right, really, really cool. Love doing that. Sat down with coffee with him the other day, and he was telling me how grateful he is. I love that stuff. That's absolutely epic for us. All right. The other part, I don't know what to buy. It's too much conflicting advice. You're an influencer saying one thing, Twitter people saying the other thing. Kent was in the same boat. Kent lives in Asia, flying around. He runs his own business. And for him, knowing what and when to sell is everything. That clarity changed the game. Being able to time the exits is the hardest part. And now it's handled with clarity, conviction. So Kent was in that boat too. So many other people as well. If you've been here for a little while, like we not only help people that are brand new in crypto, but people who've been here for a long time. We have personalized information and content for depending on where you're at. It's a lot of people that come to us that have been in the space for 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, and have too many coins and bags in previous cycles and haven't updated. Kieran was one of those clients. He came to us with 20 plus altcoins, right? And now came to us, worked with him, coached him through that, solidified his portfolio, got his strategy in order, and now he's up 2.5x since working with us. He was actually down a lot when he invested. He just timed the market really poorly, and we helped him out with his portfolio. The other part is just lacking knowledge. So much they don't know, and you just don't want to get wrecked. You don't have the confidence. Maybe you've made some poor decisions in the past. Maybe you don't know who to follow anymore. Maybe you made some money and you don't know how to do it again. Maybe you're seeing other people make more money than you are and you don't know what to do. Brady's in the same boat. He's a dad, driven his career, high income earner, has a lot of money in crypto, but just wanted someone to ask questions to rather than trying to watch YouTubers and figure out what's important to him. Brady's been in the space for a long time. So by having a personalized strategy, analyst to help him 24/7, where he can message us and understand, that is the difference. And that's really where the results are coming from in our program and what we're going to share with you today in this next 90 minutes. Some of these results, 50K in a week, up 110K, because of the strategy, not just random altcoin picks. That's not what we do. We help you really with your wealth and your portfolio. And this is just a sample of the things we see from people each and every week. They're not traders. They're not meme coin people. They're not degens. They're not new to crypto. They're not old to crypto. They're everyday people, all right? They're busy investors. They're not full-time. They do not have time. They're very busy with their life and career. All around the world, no matter where you are, our program is global in nature. We are able to have clients from, I think we're up to 22 different countries now across the world, which is absolutely epic. And we're scaling and growing to really be able to facilitate this amazing program to help busy investors no matter where they are in the world. So if that sounds like you are absolutely in the right place. I'm personally grateful to become a multimillionaire since 24. I didn't grow up with any money. I had to figure this out on my own. I left school when I was 17. Don't have a finance degree. I just fell in love with Bitcoin and fell in love with the idea of this space being able to change the world. And there was not a lot of good information out there. And now I get to travel around the world, host events like this with Bergs, my co-host of my podcast. This is me when I won the Community Leader of the Award winner in crypto recently. And I just love helping people make money the right way, because a lot of people sell you the dream, quit your 9 to 5, become a trader, put your money in an AI bot. A lot of it is just bullshit. And I really want to help all of you understand the right ways to build your crypto. And it's not to make $1 million overnight. It's not a crazy hack where you buy a meme coin and you get rich overnight. That's not reality. All right. I absolutely love helping people the right way. And I'm super competitive. So any client we work with, anyone we bring on board, I want them to win. And I take it very personally if you don't, because I hate losing. So personally, crypto's changed my life. Could live passively off it if I wanted to. I love traveling, used to travel and live overseas full time. This is me recently just, taking some money out to be able to, use it to move into our new house. And we get to pay, we get to work with some of the leading crypto companies around the world. Coinbase APAC is actually a client of ours. We sell research to Coinbase. If you're in Australia, the likes of SwiftX, CoinSpot, as an example, also are clients of ours. So we get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars because of our research, right? Not technical analysis, because of the fundamental and on-chain, research we do. I personally charge only $4,000 an hour to teach my sessions in crypto insights. Get paid tens of thousands of dollars to speak on podcasts. But really, ultimately, what we care about most now in the last few years, but nearly at 5 years old, Collective Shift, which is absolutely epic, is our clients. And our clients pay us $15,000 US to work with us directly. All right. And the reason we have so many amazing success stories, we've got over 200 clients in our high net wealth program now, is because I used to be where you are, right? Trying to figure out with influencers, being burnt, not sure what to do. And now I can help others make money in the space. And because of the aligned incentives, when we both win, when you win from the results that we teach, you stay as a member and then we both win. All right. And that's what we're going to show you today in our fast track strategy, how to grow your portfolio as a busy investor, bring it to again within 90 minutes. Now, again, really quickly, to be completely transparent, why would we host these sessions completely for free? All right. If we're so good at what we do, well, completely honestly, at the end, I'm going to share with you again how you can work with us. If you like what you see on this next 90 minutes of content, I'm going to share with you how you can work with us as a client to take all this strategy, work with us one-on-one, get in our WhatsApp, work with Travis, myself, Matt, where we will show you how to actually take this information today and implement it on your own. All right. And that's completely optional. You do not need to take it. It's actually for not everyone. You need to have a minimum of $100,000 in crypto or invest $100,000 in crypto to join the program. And it is an application process. We don't work with everyone. I will share that with you all at the end, but it's absolutely no obligation. My ultimate goal is to give you as much as I can today in this next 90 minutes so you can actually make the most of this bull market, because we are literally in motion now. But for those of you that realize, hey, we actually know our stuff and you want to join and see our program and work a little bit deeper, I'll share that at the end. And if you sign up, that's how we make money. That's the only way we make money. We don't do affiliates, don't do sponsorship. That's it. All right. The only way we market is by educating. So you're going to get a shitload of education today. And at the end of it, you go, thanks, Ben, I'm off. Great work. Take everything you can. All right. And implement it on your own. And then for those that want to see what we do after that, we'll share that at the end. All right. Completely transparent. That's how we operate here at Collective Shift. Now, today's fast track agenda. The altcoin rotation is happening. Ethereum just broke out of a 4-year downtrend against, altcoins, the altcoin market cap just broke out of a 4-year downtrend against Bitcoin. I'm going to share that research. Matt and I are going to go through that. Our updated Bitcoin price prediction, or where we think the top will be, how to be successful in a bull market. All right, talking about exit strategies and a 7-step process that we teach. And Travis is going to talk about the investor operating system, all right, to actually make sure your mindset is ready. Okay, so I might actually switch back for a second and just bring Matt on to talk about briefly just where we are in the market, talk about the bull market. Then we'll bring Travis up and do the investor operating system. Kyle, yes, we'll talk about ETH price targets and predictions in the agenda in a second. So Matt, welcome back, mate. It's been a crazy last couple of days. I want to just bring up the platform and maybe a couple of charts. We might just start with the altcoin breakout, Matt, total 2 versus Bitcoin. I'll bring up the Bitcoin chart here first just to showcase people where we're at. But then I want to get into the altcoin rotation because it's been a huge, huge breakout over the last little period of altcoins.
Yeah, it certainly has. Bitcoin, tested all-time highs yesterday, as many people would know, and Ethereum as well, as you said, had its highest weekly close in around 4 years or so, on the weekly chart there, Ben. And all this, you can see on the Collective Shift platform as well, but we'll get into the more of the analysis that we do. But it's an exciting time, Ben, because so long in this bull market, Bitcoin has been leading the way. Altcoins would have a bit of a run here and there, but it would ultimately be Bitcoin dominance increasing. So Bitcoin dominance, for those unaware, just how large is Bitcoin's valuation essentially as a percentage of the overall market. It's been climbing up from 40% a couple of years ago up to 50%, and it got as high as 2/3 of the entire cryptocurrency market were attributed to Bitcoin not too long ago. We've seen that sort of reversing and Bitcoin dominance coming down, even though Bitcoin's price has been more or less going flat or steady, slowly increasing in recent weeks. We've seen altcoins really outperform, and that is mainly due to Ethereum that you've got on your screen here, Ben. So what is this showing here on your screen?
Yeah. So I wanted to showcase, this is a chart that Tech Dev, quick shout out to Tech Dev, one of leading analysts in crypto, talking about the total 2, which is the altcoin market cap, excluding Bitcoin, breaking out against a 4-year downtrend. So essentially Bitcoin have been outperforming altcoins for 4 years, and we literally just broke out of that in the last few days. All right, so you can see here a huge breakout of this 4-year downtrend, which basically starts to show that once we start to get altcoin momentum, which we've started to see Ethereum break out, this is where the rest of the altcoin market cap starts to follow. All right, so another chart that we like to look at is the ETH BTC pair. All right, if you can see, I'm just sharing so you can start to see the ETH BTC pair. We started to really see a big breakout against Bitcoin over the last little period. All right, we've been in this huge downtrend for literally 4 years. All right, with Bitcoin outperforming, and we're obviously huge believers in Bitcoin, and I think everyone should own a lot of Bitcoin in their portfolio. But you can see here, this breakout has been a continuous momentum upwards, Matt, that in previous cycles we've seen huge. Like if we go back to 2021, if we go right back to the breakout of the biggest altcoin season we've seen to date, we saw basically for nearly like a half a year, 6 to 12 month period, like we saw this momentum of like nearly a 300% increase of Ethereum against BTC. All right, where we are to date is still only about 100%. All right, so if we're looking at like back in the previous biggest altcoin outperformance period, we're probably still only 1/3 of the way through if it was to play out exactly the same. Now we know a lot of things are different this cycle, Matt, with a lot more capital flowing in. There's a lot more buyers, more people are aware of crypto, but the big winners really at the moment has been these layer ones, Matt, which we've been speaking about for a little while. So I might just go back to you to talk about Ethereum and why we're bullish on maybe some of the other layer ones you can talk about that are really, playing out really well.
Yeah, certainly. Ethereum, starting to run, as I said earlier, we'll get into some reasons for those. But in our platinum group, we've been having a lot of questions come our way over the months about why are you still holding Ethereum? It's really not performing well. I know a big focus of ours is trying to not be too diversified. I think as we will maybe get to, and as we talked about even last week, being in too many altcoins can be very detrimental. But we're still very much a fan and confident with having ETH in both of our personal portfolios, and that's been vindicated, somewhat in recent weeks, and we still expect ETH, to continue doing really well throughout the rest of this year, potentially into next year. So altcoins, of course, by extension, we think will do very well. Big reasons for that: regulatory changes or improvements. Becoming a lot more friendlier, the regulatory environment in the US towards crypto, that will only continue into 2026 and even beyond that, to be honest. But I think the bulk of the sort of changes in sentiment has started to be captured right now. Going back 1 or 2 years, crypto just really could not grow in the US, and by extension was sort of really hampered in many other countries. And now we're seeing a mass adoption, or starting to be a mass adoption of various corporations and institutions coming into the crypto industry. So we've got that to look forward to still in the next 6 to 12 months, which the likes of Ethereum, I think, are really well positioned to benefit from that for various reasons. Just one of them being that Ethereum is the blockchain that houses the most stable coins. So stable coins being essentially tokenized versions of US dollars. So they're designed to be worth $1 each. By having stable coins being spent and being like borrowed against, or being used as collateral, being used to pay people across the world for a fraction of the cost. All of those benefits, Ethereum is really the leader of the pack when it comes to stable coins. And there are some other reasons as well why it has started to outperform, and I think why it still should continue to outperform. So it's interesting, right? A lot of platinum members, well, all members really, are asking us, well, just how high could ETH go, in the next 6 months, 12 months or so. I always really draw people back. For those who were invested in crypto, I often remind them, in 2021, a lot of the consensus among investors was that ETH was headed towards 10,000 US dollars back then, when it was getting to 3,000 for the first time and 4,000 for the first time. And for those who were heavily invested in crypto back then, you'll remember a lot of people talking about ETH getting to 10,000. Well, reality was it topped out at 4,800. So if people had their sell targets at 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, all of them would not have reached anywhere near their goals. In those cases, if people thought it was going to 10,000, it did not even get to 50% of their target. So that is something that I'm always sort of sharing, that sort of anecdote with members and just crypto investors who are newer to the space. So always just be, I suppose, realistic about expectations. And to be honest, after living and breathing this space for 8 years now, and being in the platinum group and members more broadly, seeing how little time they have been, I really do think some of the most value we can deliver is by giving people some realistic targets, because otherwise you see the YouTube influencers out there just peddling all these narratives to try to get views and clicks and whatnot.
Oh, honestly, it's the Wild West, right? Like, we go back 6 months ago and Ethereum was dead and was going to go to zero. And now every influencer is calling that Ethereum's going to, 10,000 and 20,000. It's absolutely, this is why most people round trip. So I want to talk about some of the altcoins, Matt, that we put on our shift list, because we know a lot of people are, wondering what to get into and what assets are going to outperform and what they should be holding. But before we do that, I want to maybe just jump into where are we in the cycle? Because a lot of people are thinking, are we close to the top? When's the bull market going to finish? Where are we? And I think the most important thing to understand is in the back end of a bull market, where we're heading to now, is this period is where things get out of control, and sort of fundamentals sometimes can go out the window, and euphoria and greed takes over. All right, so we see here the huge increase in prices we had in the last 2 cycles we're kind of at that point now where we think that things are going to really start to take off. All right. And this is where greed and euphoria and hype really takes over, and where Travis is going to come on in a second and talk about how to really get your mindset ready to make sure you take profits. Because the big problem, everyone, actually quick, maybe just a quick, like a yes in the chat, like who has problems taking profits, or who has had problems taking profits, or, you know, who needs some help with just setting up their sell strategy. Just let me know, like a yes in the chat, or maybe a no if you've got it sorted. Just let me know. Yes. Yeah. Chad, YouTube guru is always late. 100%. IVD, yes. Karen, everyone becomes Warren Buffett on chart replay. 100%. Like it's easy in hindsight, right? Yes, can confirm, Josh. Yes, please. Tonya. Yeah, great. The sell strategy, Ben. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So everyone's in the same, but that's great. We're going to talk about the sell strategy in a minute. Because like, if you look at where we are, the price performance since the halving, like, you know, where we are, the black line down the bottom here, guys, this is where we are right now for this cycle. Like, we're still so much, I guess, in terms of, you know, relative performance of previous cycles behind the growth of previous cycles. All right. And since the cycle low, like, we're still only, let's say, you know, half, maybe 2/3 the way through this bull market. Like, we still believe there's a good time to run. All right. And, you know, where we've come from, like in terms of, like, you know, 2-3 years ago, where we had, you know, FTX blowing up, Luna, you know, we didn't have a Bitcoin ETS, we didn't have Ethereum ETS, we didn't have, you know, we had an anti-crypto government, and now we're full-blown pro-US government on crypto. We've got money coming into Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs are pumping, layer ones are far better. The SEC's war on crypto is pretty much over, or is over. Tariff wars behind us. You know, the government's not selling its Bitcoin. We've got institutional adoption. Like, we're starting to really see, you know, so much macro wins like behind us, Matt, that is just, you know, so exciting. And the amount of debt that's coming in, Matt, like, we're literally printing in, you know, just in the US alone, $2 trillion of debt every single year with the big, beautiful bill. Now, love it or hate it, you know, the wealth gap is going to become phenomenally large. The rich are going to get richer if they have assets, and unfortunately, like, unless you have assets, you're going to be left behind, because asset prices are going up because money needs to find a home. Right? There's so much money printing going on. This is already finding its way into risk on assets.
Yeah, I think this is the point that this is the big reason why I'm still like very much like almost vast majority of my wealth in crypto. We're, for better or worse, I think entering a phase of a lot more asset, like, growth for assets, like, globally. I think the Trump administration, and to be fair, like, other, you know, the ECB, like the European and China, of course, like, really ramping up and accelerating, like, fiscal spending to really try to stimulate their respective economies. And with all of that printing, whether it's from the fiscal side of things or monetary policy side of things with the central banks, it does result in asset prices, you know, driving higher. In those environments, historically, the most riskiest assets, you know, tend to be where the most of the money is made. Obviously, the opposite scenario is not great for assets like crypto, but thankfully, we are certainly not in that environment or those sorts of conditions. So throughout next year, even as the Trump administration and other governments around the world continue to really spend at record levels to try to, again, propel their domestic economies. Plus, you've got central banks cutting to make sort of liquidity and to help liquidity even grow. Partially, that's one of the reasons. All of that should really, again, bolster us heading into next year. I do think the wealth disparity is a side effect of that in a way. I do think that, you know, gets more extravagant, and the gap between the rich and the poor does continue to widen. We can all have our judgments on what we think of that, but when we're just in isolation talking about crypto, for me and for many of you watching right now, that does then should, in my opinion, like, represent an opportunity to at least, you know, set yourself up and help give yourself the best opportunity moving forward into this sort of uncharted territory where we are in terms of economic history and really just like the history of fiat currency, which in its modern form has really only been around for 50 or so years, which is a fraction of a time when you go back the history of humanity, really. So really interesting times, of course, risk assets for sure. at least in the next 6 to 12 months, I think are really well positioned. And the shift list here, a lot of people come to us being like, all right, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there. Where should I start? And our job with our analysts here at Collective Shift and myself as well, leading that team, we are monitoring these particular cryptocurrencies constantly, and we also create content on other cryptocurrencies through our member posts. So this risk rating that we do have here on the shift list, we try to keep it specific to this bull market. Again, we can have our views on cryptocurrencies for long term in terms of multiple years, but for the sake of a lot of our members and even for ourselves personally as investors, that sort of view is more or less irrelevant. We really want to try to be maximizing profits in this particular bull market. So that's our sort of our yardstick or our parameters that we have on these cryptocurrencies. So when we apply a rating to them, we're just talking about, all right, how much do we think Hyperliquid, what's its upside from here, like August 2025 to the end of the bull market? And also what are the risks that are unique to Hyperliquid? So when we're talking about risks, we're talking about things like level of competition, quality of the team, upcoming catalysts or lack thereof, the competitive landscape, and also user metrics. Are they trending higher? What's the growth rate of those user metrics? All of those things go into our analysis of the risk side of things when it comes to these projects, tokenomics being another big factor there. So yeah, we do express some bearish views on certain cryptocurrencies as well. And naturally, as the bull market goes along, we should see these ratings actually decrease back towards a neutral level, because that should be consistent with our view that the bull market is sort of wrapping up. That's what I love about the shift list. It's sort of dynamic in nature in terms of reacting to price movements as well. So yeah, there's some of our favorites up on the top of your screen that Ben's showing there. And yeah, we can also show off some of our other content.
Thank you, Matty. Yeah, so we're going to go and talk about it. The top altcoins we're bullish on. As you can see, Hyperliquid, Solana, Sui, ETH are kind of the core four that Matt's been talking about. The shift list is the sort of core component behind that. What I want to just talk about too, we'll actually go through this in a second, is our 7-step strategy, because I know a lot of you want help on the sell strategy side. So this 7-step strategy is the 7-step process that we take all of our clients through and what we use personally. And the big part of that is, what is your sell strategy? Now, to get the sell strategy right, you need to get your mindset right. All right. So we're going to do a little 15-minute investor operating system. Travis is a performance executive coach. He's our head of growth at Collective Shift, works with our platinum clients on their sell strategy and mindset predominantly before getting to that sell strategy piece. So Matt, you and I might jump off. We'll bring up Travis, our in-team expert on mindset, mate. You've helped me a lot with this over the years, and ultimately, this is where a lot of people go wrong, right? Like Matt, we've seen this where people have targets, they have spreadsheets, they can have as much data as they want, all right? But unless they actually, trigger it and actually do something with it, the greed takes over, Trav, which we've seen too many times.
Yep, literally every day we're having these conversations. So we'll kick off with that if we want. Session today, but just want to talk about the two types of investors to kick things off. And this is my experience, of years in this space, from whether it be executives in ASX or Fortune 500 companies all the way through to individual investors, is there are generally two types of decision makers. There's the people who make emotional decisions and then kind of have to sadly live with that and maybe not have the right strategies in place. And there's people who lie about having done that thing. And I think that they both exist, and we both exist for most people and are guilty of those things. But being aware of it and having a strategy to overcome that's really critical. And I think probably the most salient point of seeing this play out was at our recent in-person event. We have twice a year, we have an in-person full day deep dive on portfolios, wealth, all these different aspects of investing. And we had one about 2 weeks ago. And one of the members in the small group session said to me, he's like, I took your advice from the last session. I said, oh, what was that? He said, I woke up, I checked my laptop, and one of my altcoins was tanking. He's absolutely tanking and just on a downward spiral. And he said, and I was about to click sell, but I remember one of the things you talked about in the investor operating system, the expanded session, was around this idea of like, just take a beat. If it doesn't fit your strategy, why are you doing it? And then lastly is, how will you feel about it later on if you make that decision in the moment rather than making it in alignment with your strategy? And so he said, I did what you said. I just got away from my laptop. He went and made some calls, went for a shower, came back, and it had bounced 30%. And he said, I would have lost literally tens of thousands of dollars on that trade if I had done what I would have normally have done, which is just trade then and there. And those are the types of conversations I have with our members literally every day, because I offer that one-on-one coaching in that space. So we've already talked a bit about that, but the market isn't really your enemy. And that's a great example of that. The market was moving, but he had a strategy. He just was ready to act against his own strategy because of the pressure he had put himself under. And it's really the mindset piece of it that's the problem. In my experience, more often than not, the round tripping is a function of people's behaviors and the way they think about their investment than it is the actual investment they're choosing. People spend so much time, and Ben, Matt, myself see this in the chat every day, where people are like, is this the right coin? What time should I get out? What should I be doing? And what the bigger issue isn't any of those things. It's actually, wait, hold on. I'm about to make a decision now because I'm feeling the heat or pressure, or I'm abandoning my investment thesis. And actually, even a mediocre investment would have outperformed this because I'm acting irrationally when I think I'm being rational. And in this investor operating system work that I do, and really helping people understand how they make decisions, I talk about the three kind of enemies that play out for most people, which are fear, greed, and ego. And each of them show up in different ways, and understanding how they show up is really important. Greed isn't, wanting a wealth and a lifestyle isn't greed. Greed is being overly opportunistic to the point where you're acting against yourself. And fear is, acting against yourself in order to try to get away from some short-term pain rather than understanding that actually this is going to be okay. It's a bit like the ETH example that Matt and Ben have been talking about, this idea that, everyone's saying get out of it because there's some pain in the market, but actually the fundamentals hadn't changed. The deep beliefs that the team had in it were still there because the evidence was still there. And what do? We held. I have a fair bit of ETH and I've held it. I haven't touched it. It's very much around that. And then ego is wanting to save face. Well, what happens if I don't make the right decision and everyone thinks something about me? And crypto is a little bit like that anyways. So understanding that, and for me, I say this over and over again, this is my kind of quote here, is what your biggest risk to your portfolio isn't your strategy or a scam coin or some crappy investment. It's you at 2 a.m. with zero checks and balance in place, deciding to just do something and act against your own investment strategy. And as Ben will talk about, the team here, we're exceptional at helping you build out that strategy. But if you don't act in alignment with it, there's not a whole lot we can do for you. So we've understood over the years, we've also got to coach you on how to manage your own decisions in that process. So I talk about the first trap in that investment operating system, and I'm going to give you a few tips, but bearing in mind, this is a really short kind of 15-minute crash course in what could be days worth of content. But this investment cycle and the stages of investment grief is something I put together a few years back because I was explaining it over and over to members. And what we tend to see is that there's an initial FOMO. Something's pumping in the market. People are going, wait, I've missed out on that opportunity. And so they jump in, they buy high. And in buying high, there's this initial panic that comes immediately, like, oh, did I buy the wrong thing? Did I get something wrong here? Did I buy it at the wrong time? Or should I maybe get back out because I got in too late? And so they then sell low, and then that leads to regret. So you've got all these emotions starting to play out, and then it's back to Mo, which is I'm missing out. I need to get in on the next thing. And so what we've seen, I actually had this call a week and a half ago, roughly. I had a call, new member in our platinum space. He's sitting on a couple 100,000 in crypto. I said, how did you go last cycle? Were you in crypto? And he said, oh, I've been in crypto for 4 cycles now. And I said, oh, you must be pretty well off. And he said, no, I've lost everything every cycle. I said, God, how did that happen? And so he said, last cycle, essentially what happened was he was doubling down on some of his trades, went incredibly speculative. He had a plan and he was going to pay off his house. He only needed about 500K to pay off the balance. He was at 750 or something like that. And his parents and everyone around him said, take more. And he said, it's not enough. Like, there's still more upside in the market. But he had already passed his goal and he was still waiting for the next thing to tell him. So he got all the way up to 2 million and he went back down to 0. because he used some leverage trades and it just went really poorly for him. And he said, I really need help with breaking that mindset because the greed takes over and I abandoned my goals, and I actually could have paid off my house and wouldn't even be working now. And he's still working because of that. So that's really the core of the work that I do. And one of the tactics here is to really pre-write your buy triggers when you're rational, not manic. So you can see this cycle playing out with buy triggers and sell triggers, but don't wait for the emotion. Figure out, what do I need and when am I going to take profits? It's something that Ben and Matt and everyone in the analyst side of it do really well, is they say, hey, you need to be really clear on when you're taking profits. We'll give you signals that we're taking profits, but ultimately you have to choose and you have to set those markers. And if you don't stick to them, you're only hurting your own outcomes. So I've got a quick one I want to get you to pop in the chat, is decision 1 versus A and B. It's 900 for sure for decision A, or 90% chance of getting $1,000 if you go with decision B. So just get you to pop in the chat quickly which one you would take. Yeah, good. Seeing lots of A's. We've got a bit of an outlier there. We've got a B, but lots of A's. Just uncommon. Most people take A, and you go, why? You've got a 90% chance of getting $1,000. We would say, if you give anyone a 90% chance of getting $1,000, why would you not take that? And this is the fundamentals of the psychology and investing. This goes back to game theory, which has been around for decades, but to this day, we still don't do it well. The better decision empirically, by any measure mathematically, is B. The reason we go with A is because A has less risk of loss. And we as humans respond really poorly to loss. If we lose, there's the whole ego, the saving face, the how does this play out? Why didn't I'm an idiot? I should have gone with the other one. It's not the best decision to make, but it's the most fear-driven decision and risk-averse decision to make. So understanding the difference between the two is, again, part of that. And we know, again, empirically, studies have been done on where people feel pain more and what the win specifically has a certain amount of feeling that we get from it. The loss has twice the inverse feeling of that. We can see this in humans. We can see this play out where if you lose, you will not feel as good. You need to win twice as much in order to offset that loss. So it's not something new. It's something to be aware of. There are a couple of B's in the chat, which hopefully says, people are starting to understand some of their own emotions and how that plays out. I'm seeing Karim say the $100 is not worth it, but we're talking about a 10% gain. So we're not talking about absolutes in the overall scheme of investing. And it's an illustration of how we will avoid a small percentage of loss pain for fear of getting it wrong. So framing losses as yes, Stephen, we get a teddy bear. We'll get you a collective shift one. Framing losses as learning tax and not failures is part of the fundamentals of turning that around. Understanding that ultimately, sometimes you are going to get it wrong. There are times where we've even had potential losses or slight losses that we didn't anticipate. But we overall win because we understand why we're making those decisions and we stick to the fundamentals of the investment. The team here are very good, I would say very good, probably one of the best I've encountered at sticking to, hey, this is what we've said. This is why we understand it. None of the fundamentals have changed. None of our analysis has changed. Why are we changing positions? We wouldn't do that. So this is one of the tactics there. And then also understanding recency bias. This is happening right now. The market's pumping. People know I do this work at the collective shift. And so I start getting messages overnight. Hey, what's happening in crypto? Anything I need to be aware of? Well, it's the same stuff that's been happening for a while. Nothing we would tell you has changed. But what's happening is that because this recency, this push is happening, everyone's getting on board. Everyone's going, well, what should I be doing? Should I get involved? Is now the time? So, well, the time was when you defined it in your strategy, not because the market's moving now. So forcing yourself to reflect and explain why now is still a good time, not why it was good yesterday, is more important. So the slides cut off a little bit there, but understanding as a tactic, don't look at what's happening in this segment of the market. Look at what was my investment theory and strategy, whatever particular thing I was setting there, and look at the trend of that. If it's still moving in the overall right direction, great. And you saw this earlier with Ben and Matt. They really highlighted out to you, well, this is what's happening. This is what we've seen happening over the years that we've been around, not here's what's happening today in the market. Why? Because if you take daily snapshots, you're going to cycle yourself into fear. You think you're missing something. If your investment thesis hasn't changed, please do not start moving your assets around. So I'd ask you to just think about those traps that we covered off on, the recency bias, looking at charts and going, oh, I got to do something. That loss aversion, where we talked about the bet that you can make there, and the FOMO, and understanding that FOMO in your portfolio. Which of those has affected you? If you, it's a good chance to be honest, anonymously here, and say, well, what's affected you? I'll get you to pop that in the chat. Give a second for that to play out. Yep, FOMO. It's a big one. We've all had that. Start twitching a little bit as you see others getting in on it. All of them. Yes, that's a good one too. Yep, I think you're spot on. Now, in the expanded work we do, yep, great. FOMO, buy high, sell low. Yep, classic. And bought high, yes. So we really want to make sure that's not happening to you. And that is what we do. Our members have said time and time again, they followed our strategies. They followed the research that we've done. And clearly it's paid out for them really well. And that's what we're here for. And I say this a lot, but strong mind is true wealth. It's not about strong fundamentals alone. Matt, Simon, Ben, they'll get you there, but you have to still have the mindset around it to manage that investment cycle correctly and not let that take hold of you. And markets don't reward IQ alone. This is the other thing. You can think you're the smartest person in the room, and that kind of doesn't matter in many ways, because markets reward the emotional regulation paired with the IQ. And that's the bit I really want you to understand and play into, is that intelligence is important, fundamentals are important, but you don't need to be super smart to get this right. You actually need to have good emotional regulation. That example of that member who I spoke about, who walked away from the downward spiral and just took 30 minutes, he literally said it was about 32 minutes, something to that effect, and came back. That was enough emotional regulation to save him tens of thousands of dollars of poor investment trades. And for me, it's that smart and emotional often loses money. Smart and disciplined wins over time and time again. So I'll just wrap up with my last comment here, is that discipline really does beat dopamine. Dopamine is that fear, greed, ego, the chasing of the hit, that I've got to get it right. I want to be able to tell my mates, whatever it is that's driving that need for that boost. You've got to counteract that, and you've got to be disciplined enough to stick to it. And when you're not disciplined, Ben can attest to this as he comes back on. This is my last slide, but we were watching the chat yesterday with the members, and they were talking about altcoins, and it's all pumping. This is in our platinum group, by the way. And as it's pumping, one of the members, the newer members, is saying, oh, it sounds like you're all really clear on when you're taking profits. I guess I need to be more clear on this, and I'm going to set my own profit taking strategy. So not only do you get that from us, but you get it from the others in the platinum group going, hey, let's be really clear here. We've talked about our plans. Let's keep each other accountable to our plans. And that's one of the things I love about our members. So I'll hand it back over there.
Thank you so much, Trav. Can you hear me all right, by the way? Is this got the new mic set up? Is that a bit better?
Yeah. Perfect.
Far better. Brilliant. Trav, absolutely epic. And I think the thing that's really helped me make money in crypto over time is not only having the sell strategy, but you need the accountability, the mindset, and understand that you've got to take the emotion away. Because if you have emotion in crypto has this sickening way of never actually letting you win, right? It just you either buy too much, or you don't buy enough, or you don't sell enough, or you sell too much. It's just you've got to be able to have a logical pathway to achieve results and not get too caught up in the emotion side of things. Otherwise, yeah, you're glued to the screen all day.
Spot
on. Awesome. Thank you so much, Trav. So Trav is he works with our platinum clients, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on. If you want to work with Trav and get that mindset and help you with the sales strategy, Travis works with our US clients, Australian clients, no matter where you are. Has a great part in that, and he'll also be in our upcoming day in Miami in October. So Travis and I will be presenting there alongside our director of research, Matt, who you're hearing from at the moment. So we'll be presenting at our Platinum Client Day that we present twice a year. First one's coming up in Miami in October. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you, Trav. So
awesome.
Let's bring back. Thank you, Trav. Let's bring Matt back up, because look, everyone's been talking about the sell strategy side, and if we think about the 7-step strategy process that we implement, this 7-step strategy process, by the way, is is a process that we take everyone through. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, it's not about the person, it's about the process, Matt. And we've seen people from all walks of life come in, Matt, whether you're experienced, new, young, old, whatever it might be. This process, it really takes someone from, not succeeding as much as they could and taking the most of the opportunity in the bull market to really, reading the results are based on getting this right. Now, we don't have time to go through all of it today. What I want to focus on is the sell strategy, right? So you just heard about the mindset side. We need to start to think about the sell strategy for you and how you're going to sell. Things like, where are you going to sell? What exchanges do you have set up? All right. Are you looking at a centralized exchange, decentralized exchange? If for a lot of you that have large amounts of capital, you need to be looking at over the counter, because a lot of the assets may not have liquidity. You may not be able to get in and out fast enough. They're going to charge very high fees and spreads. So getting the right introductions to these different exchanges is really important. Now, Matt, there's a range of different scenarios that sort of plays out in a bull market. When it comes to selling, the most obvious one, Matt, that we see a lot of people do is they try and pull off the genius scenario. How common is this, where they think, oh, it's so easy, let's just, we'll just sell the top and buy back into the bottom.
Yeah, it's very common to be able to think, you can do that. It doesn't really happen. Anyone who's been in crypto knows that this is extremely hard, statistically, extremely rare that someone precisely sells the exact top. So acknowledging that is not possible is really important to set your expectations, not trying to be a hero.
Yeah, because it's easy in hindsight. Like someone commented just before about the YouTube influence. They're great to look back and go, oh, this is what I said. This is what you should have done. But in the moment, it's a completely different story, right? So most people try and sell the top. So this is what actually happens, all right? Maybe, you're seeing that now. Your prices of your portfolios going up. You're now adjusting your sell strategy higher because you think you're going to miss out, what Travis just spoke about. So then what happens is you keep moving it higher. And then what actually happens is that you miss the top. And I guess what? It is so much harder to sell on the way down than it is on the way up, all right? So really what you're supposed to do, okay, and the way we think about it is take chips off the table as you go up, because the down period, the bear market, what's going to happen when you miss the top is so much more painful than actually taking chips off as you go up, all right? Most meme coins in the past cycle went down 95%. Dogecoin went down 95% in the space of a year. So look at your portfolio now, some of those altcoins you have, and picture it being down 90%. How would that make you feel? All right, you need to get that in your brain, because that's what's going to help you take profits, all right? So what you really, in my opinion, should be doing is taking chips off the table as you go up, taking stacks of your portfolio as the price of the asset goes up, all right? As you do that, you're able to take profits, and that's what we're doing now, Matt, all right? So we've been talking about like our Ethereum targets, altcoin targets. I've personally already taken some profits on a couple of altcoins that have done like a 10x, the MemeFi project, and also Syrup. Everything else for me, I haven't taken profits on, but I also look at Bitcoin and altcoins as two completely separate asset classes. I'm actually buying more BTC still at this point. I'm still buying altcoins, but I'm far less price sensitive on Bitcoin because I'm stacking it for the long term, right? Bitcoin for me is like the best asset you could hold. All right. So altcoins for me is something I'm looking to really make sure I'm taking chips off as we go up to stack more Bitcoin. How do you think about it, Matt?
Yeah, I trade it individually for each altcoin. So, a lot of members have blanket rules where they, have price targets. If I gain 50% on my chain link, for example, then I'm going to take off 50% of my holdings, and then they sort of have another rule for 100%. And then they sell the rest. People have apply that sort of rule for every single cryptocurrency that they hold. That blanket rule can be really sensible for someone who doesn't have much time. Thankfully for us, we're able to tailor our sell strategies for each altcoin, or at least that's what I do. And a lot of platinum members, after they get our assistance and our posts, whether it's on the member platform where we're explaining, when we're looking at selling, or even in the WhatsApp group with our platinum members as well. That can be a bit more tailored towards each individual altcoin, which I think can maximize potential profits rather than this blanket rule. So after all, Ben, I often just tell everyone, have a sell strategy. I think everyone really wants like the silver bullet. What is the best sell strategy? Is it dollar cost averaging out? Is it doing some other time-based approach? Is it doing some price target approach? All of them have pros and cons. It really depends on what your personal situation is in terms of your amount of time, available energy, how much capital you've got on the line. any sales strategy is far better than just having none at all. So we do have resources on all different types of sales strategies. But yeah, really picking one and sticking with it that second part is by far the hardest thing.
Totally. So there's four real like different ways to sell in our opinion. Or, like there's probably more, but like these are the four that we focus on, right? So you got target based, like selling percentages at certain prices. You've got time based, so you'll sell a percentage at a certain time. You've got dollar cost averaging out. So I use a mix of dollar cost averaging out. So there's a question in the chat here of like, how much do I take chips off the table? I usually use the rule of thirds. So I usually sell a third of my position and keep 2/3. The reason I do that is because, usually when I take a third off, I'm at least taking profits on top of my initial investment, but I've still got 2/3 allocated to the market. Because one of the hardest things to do when you take profits is then to continue to watch the chart if it continues to go up. So you need to be comfortable that, the amount you're taking off is good. All right. But you've still got allocation to the market. A lot of people think they're just going to they're going to wait till their portfolio hits like $1 million and then just magically make $1 million. Like I guarantee you won't get to $1 million and then just sell everything. All right. Because now you've got no exposure. So trying to take strategic chips off the table as the market goes up is the way I do it. I usually take a third. All right. But the big one here is what we utilize the most. And this is the most elusive, but the hardest to quantify, even harder to execute, is sentiment selling. So there was a comment in the chat about, when his mates, I think it was something around when his mate's wife starts talking about crypto. This is sentiment selling. This is observing general investor psychology to anticipate market shifts. All right. And unlike other strategies, it's not an automated one, and it requires skill, intuition, and discipline, and it requires experience. And this is something that has been like drilled into us over time, being full-time investing in the space for the last 9 years. Where I made most of my money in the last cycle was in the metaverse. Before the metaverse was really a thing, before Facebook renamed to Meta, I invested heavily into the metaverse projects that some of them did 10, 20, 30, 40x. All right. And at the time, people thought that the metaverse was going to be everything. Like we were just going to all live in VR, right? And we were going to, wear headsets and goggles the rest of our life. 4 years on, looking back, who do you know is using a metaverse right now? Nobody. All right. But at the time, these projects were worth multi-billions of dollars. You've got to take the emotion out of it. And this is where sentiment selling came into it. And I took a lot of profits at that time because I thought this is way overhyped, way overvalued. And I saw the general population. My Uber driver was telling me how the metaverse is going to be a future. All right. That is a huge, huge signal. Whenever you start taking screenshots of your portfolio, whenever your non-crypto friends are getting in and they're talking about how much money they're making, that is really, for me, a big sentiment selling mechanism. Now, we have a number of metrics that we track internally. We have our bull market checklist that we're tracking daily and weekly for our team. That is a big one when it comes to sentiment selling. So really for you, a key takeaway here is figure out how much you're going to sell. What are you selling into? At what target, and are you dollar cost averaging out? Where are you selling? Like what exchanges are you using? And then what are you selling into? All right. Having those goals. And we don't have time to go through the full 7-step process here, but one of the big parts that we didn't get to touch on today is goal setting. All right. When you don't know what you're trying to achieve or get out of crypto, you have no reason to sell. All right. And the question came in the chat here is around like, will I be taking profits on my Bitcoin? I probably won't take a lot if I don't have to. My ultimate goal this cycle is to diversify into property, all right, and into stocks, because I'm 100% allocated to crypto. Once I achieve that, I want to keep and stack more Bitcoin. So I'm going to be using my altcoins to achieve that. I'll sell some Bitcoin if I need to. I've already taken some chips off the table and some profits to buy property at the moment for my parents, which has been a big goal of mine, all right? But I'm going to continue to stack Bitcoin. Now, I want to go, Matt, and spend 5 minutes here speaking about some of the altcoins we're looking at. What are the sort of top 3 altcoins we're looking at the moment? And then we'll get to some Q&A, because I know there's a lot of questions coming through. There's a lot to cover here. So I want to go back and talk about, Matt, some of these things on the altcoin side. And then if you have any other questions around sales strategy, I'll also show you guys how we help you with your sales strategy soon with our Platinum program. But Matt, let's maybe talk about a big favorite of yours, Hyperliquid. Should we touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's still an altcoin that I'm, that's the only really major one I'm still looking to continue accumulating. I have held it for a while now, but overall, from a risk reward standpoint, I think it's, in my opinion, still the best. It's the best from a risk reward standpoint still. So what's that mean? I think it's really got an entrenched, spot in the market, a clear sort of sector leader that's going to keep growing. Therefore, its risk and potential downside is very limited compared to other cryptocurrencies, valued similarly. And its reward, I still think is quite favorable, or potential upside, even though we rate it as low reward. In cryptocurrency, I suppose it's all relative. A low reward can still be 2xing or going up 100%, which in crypto doesn't sound all that impressive to a lot of the higher risk traders and all of that. But anywhere else in stocks or property, 100% in possibly 3 or 6 months is unheard of, to be honest. So Hyperliquid is still like my highest conviction hold at the moment of any of the altcoins. I do hold ETH, Solana, Sui, however, and some other altcoins. But yeah, Hyperliquid, the reason why I'm still very bullish on it, just quickly, can elaborate in the Q&A, but strong tokenomics, as we've got on our analysis here on the Collective Shift member platform. Strong tokenomics, has millions of dollars of buybacks each day. So from revenue generated by the protocol, automatically goes back to buying millions of dollars worth of the token every single day. No other project has that much buying pressure daily out of all the market. And then, of course, their competitive lead that they have due to the nature of their product in the perpetual sort of trading space is also a clear leader in that sector. And I think some upcoming catalysts should still hold it in good stead, such as the launch of HIP3. That feature is going live any week now. So a lot of upcoming catalysts, Ben, which we always look to.
Yeah, and the fundamental side too. So one thing that you'll come to realize with us at Collective Shift is it's not about technical analysis. It's far more about the on-chain and fundamental value of tokenomics and how these projects generate revenue and, the bigger catalysts that are behind it. And Matt, the next one I want to touch on is XRP. XRP, I know there's a lot of people in the room that are fans of XRP. They've had a bit of a breakthrough from a legal perspective and one that we know in a bull market gets a lot of retail attention. As we've sort of spoken about for a long time, love it or hate it with XRP, in a bull market, retail are going to really get behind community-led projects, and XRP arguably has the best community in the world. What are your thoughts on it, and how you think it will sort of perform in the later half of the cycle?
Yeah, it's a good example of how the shift list works, because a few weeks ago we had it as slightly bullish. It's gone on a little run and now it's come back down to neutral, which means we can see it moving in line with Bitcoin, which is the view that I have. I fully expect XRP to go up in US dollar terms throughout like the short term, the rest of this bull market. There's a lot of things I can point to. I think growth in the RLUSD stablecoin is going to be catch a lot of people by surprise. I think there are a lot of growth catalysts for that RLUSD stablecoin that should come in the months ahead. Obviously, they've got the regulatory, the legal battle with the SEC finished. And also, I think there's a chance they could get an ETF this year as well. And then they've got their major conference, Ripple Spring, happening in New York in November. Again, normally there's a lot of announcements that are associated with those sort of conferences as well. So short term for XRP, I fully expect it to go up in USD terms, more or less in line with Bitcoin, which I personally am still expecting to go up by around 50% or so.
Perfect, Matt. Now, I want to also, there's a lot of altcoins we talk about. We're bullish on the layer ones, we're bullish on DeFi, but we also do put out some research on some high risk assets for those that are interested. Obviously, portfolio allocation is really important. We might not go too much into this project because we can probably tease a little bit though, Matt, is REC token, which we spoke about recently. And maybe, Matt, you want to talk more. We won't bring up the full research because we'll keep that for the members, but maybe talk about why, in bull markets, some of these opportunities are positive, especially when there's a lot of momentum, in the market.
Yeah, as the altcoin, as the bull market matures, it gets harder to identify altcoin really good opportunities, and the time frames sort of shorten naturally in terms of your investment time frame for each altcoin. So RECT is a good example of one that I can really see, doing well on a shorter time frame because it has all of the momentum. So RECT is one of, if not the first, sort of brand coins. So a token really affiliated or associated with a product or with a company that's trying to build their brand. In this case, they're going for the consumer goods market with drinks. So starting off with Rect drinks and trying to expand that into 7-Eleven stores in Los Angeles. They have announced recently, and also doing collaborations with some really big names in the crypto market. So it's a really good experiment of brand growth, which you get rewarded in the Rect tokens. The Rect token itself inherently doesn't have value, which long term we still have questions about its sustainability. But again, the focus of Collective Shift is, at least our team, we're trying to maximize our profits in this particular bull market and then turning our attention to doing the same in the bear market. But just for the sake of this bull market, riding the momentum of something like Rect, we feel is a really strong risk reward opportunity. And we can see that momentum, still going ahead in the months ahead, even though it's actually gone up so extraordinarily in recent months. A lot of times investors would sort of see that and just avoid an investment like this. But in my experience, letting the momentum do its thing in bull markets often pays off. So Rect for me was one that I recently brought into. So yeah, a lot of exciting things going on with that project.
Thank you so much, Matt. Now, so we've spoken about 3 altcoins. We've spoken about more of a high risk play here. There's a lot more that we want to cover. So what we want to do is maybe if you guys can start to think about some questions you want to ask Matt and myself. We're going to get to some Q&A in a second. I just want to touch on some of the more high net wealth strategies. We'll let Matt have a bit of a drinks break and then come back, and then we'll get into some questions. So thank you so much, Matt. Matt will come back on in just a moment to answer all of your questions that we haven't covered yet. I want to bring up just to make sure we've covered everything. So things we've spoken about so far: the altcoin rotation, what those altcoins are, the Bitcoin price prediction, as we spoke about. We think the cycle's really heating up. For me now, Bitcoin heading to that sort of 180,000 range is where we're starting to, get to in terms of, at least this cycle could potentially go a lot higher depending on what happens with the government buying Bitcoin on the balance sheet. How to be successful in a bull market. I want to talk about a couple of those things in a second. And then we also spoke about the invest operating system with Travis. So Q&A is going to come up in just a second, but I wanted to touch on 2 things before we get into talking about how we can help you on your journey with our Platinum program and getting to Q&A. The first thing is considerations for high net wealth individuals. Now, this isn't spoken about a lot because of the sort of uniqueness of people having large amounts of money in crypto or looking to deploy a large amount of money in crypto. So first of all, OTC, over-the-counter trading, is really, really important to save you time and money. All right. Personally, you can use the likes of Kraken. You can use Coinbase. They're probably the primary 2. You've got Coinbase has got an institutional product as well, which is great in the US. In Australia, you can use the likes of SwiftX. There's a range of different ones in Australia. To get really the most out of the dollar that you're spending, making sure you also are thinking about not only the short term, but the long term strategy. So when we talk about altcoins, I talk about using altcoins to leverage up and overtake my Bitcoin returns. If your altcoins are not outperforming Bitcoin, that's where you start to think, okay, why am I holding these altcoins? Because if you look at just Bitcoin alone, all right, Bitcoin's compounding at close to 100% per year over the last few years, which is crazy, right? So the short-term portfolio strategy you want to have is important to understand, that you need that to outperform. And if not, you need to start to rethink. There's a lot of coins you probably have around that are not outperforming, that you're not sure whether to hold, get rid of. There's a lot of strategies and resources we have to look at that. But short-term and long-term is important. You can start to look at lending. There's some great mortgage-backed products, that I'm using personally. We can't talk about them too much as a financial product, but lending is becoming, bigger and bigger in this space. Having your liquidity goals. All right. The 3 main goals I speak about in crypto, or just wealth in general: getting to 1 million in liquid investable assets. All right. At 1 million and you're earning 10% on 1 million in liquid investable assets, you're earning 100,000 a year. All right. Life's getting a bit easier. Then you've got the $3 to $6 million range. All right. When you can start to, go on more holidays, you're in a nicer house, you've got kids, they're going to private school, you're debt free. The ultimate goal for me is that 10 million in investable liquid assets. That's where you can earn passively, 10% on 10 million. You're earning $1 million a year. You can basically retire if you want to. I'll never retire because I love the game and I love helping people and I love investing myself. But 10 million is really when you can start to live in an abundant life. Money's not really a problem. Anywhere between 10 and 50 million, from from like a lifestyle perspective, unless you're looking at, islands and jets, doesn't get too different. Above 50 million, I'm not at above 50 million yet, but that's where you literally just looking at the different, private jet you want to fly, right? So doesn't make too much of a difference from your lifestyle perspective, but having those on-chain goals and lifestyle goals is important. Tax and structuring is obviously, to make sure you optimize your tax efficiency. Depending on if you're in the US, you're in Australia, you're in Europe, we have different tax partners we introduce you with and get you, set up for the right way. Risk to reward is important. This is back to portfolio allocation. A lot of people don't understand this, and it's why in our portfolio, in our dashboard, we also have different things like portfolio allocation, and looking at different things like sectors that you're looking at what percentage you have of different assets. I just want to quickly share my screen if I can bring that up really quickly. This one here. So you can look at the dashboard when you plug in your assets. A lot of people don't think about portfolio allocation when it comes to risk to reward, right? So looking at the percentage allocation when you add in your portfolio in the dashboard to look at the percentages. People think they've got their allocation right, but they don't have a lot of layer ones. They don't have much DeFi. They don't have much meme coin exposure. Maybe they've got too much, too little. So portfolio allocation is really important. And then looking at the risk to reward against each asset, all right? And that's where we do our rating system. We can start to see the risk to reward. You don't want to take so much risk where you're not getting that reward profile, if that makes sense, all right? So that's really important to check out there. And the final thing is just in terms of considerations behind it is automation, sell strategy, and looking at broader than just Bitcoin. All right. With the unfortunate thing about crypto is it doesn't generate cash flow. So if you're looking to retire, you need to have assets in cash generating assets as well. All right. And Bitcoin and crypto doesn't actually generate cash flow. All right. You can earn a yield, you can stake different assets, but no, that is not a safe, secure way where you can generate income and cash flow. So that's where it comes in, and that's where we help our clients to think about how to not only grow their wealth in crypto, but then how to generate cash flow and reduce their time at work, or ultimately retire one day. Now, the final thing I want to share with you is just an experience here, how to be successful in a bull market, because I've been investing full time now for 9 years in crypto. The first bull market, I didn't make any money. I round tripped life-changing amounts of money, and now the last 2 cycles I've been able to make money. All right. The big ones here that I really want you to take away, and at the end of the day, if you don't join us, I really don't care. I want you to take these things away. This is the most important. You need to have an exit plan. The day I implemented my exit plan and I had accountability, I had clear goals, and I had Travis, Matt, and the team to help me with my mindset and the research, change the game. All right. Trying to do this alone in crypto is so difficult. All right. If you are busy, don't chase every pump and coin. You cannot be in every sector. You cannot be in every winning coin. Don't chase the pumps. All right. Simple positioning. Less is more. Don't have multiple wallets. Don't have stuff everywhere. Don't have cold wallets, warm wallets, multiple exchanges. Keep it simple, guys. The simpler, the better. All right. Usually when I work with my clients and we sit down and look at things, my number one thing is, how can we simplify this? You can have every coin under the sun and you can make 10x, you can make 20x, but unless you sell, you make nothing. All right. You need to keep it simple. Bull market mindset, know that greed and euphoria is going to take over. All right. And you need to make sure that you have things dialed in from a mindset perspective, or you're going to be in the same boat as you have been previous cycles, or maybe because you're new to crypto, the things that Travis just spoke about, you're not aware of. Crypto has this amazing way where you can make a lot of money in crypto, but unless you take profits, you're going to round trip. All right. And greed and euphoria take over. Now, the other thing, when I've done this, when I first started, you've done the hardest thing. You get your sell strategy, you get the mindset, you get the accountability, you take profits, but then you buy back in, and you buy back in at the top again because you get FOMO, because you feel as though you're missing out because you took profits and the market continues to run. So these are the things that you may not even be aware of, because a lot of you I know haven't even taken profits. So when you take profits, you're still not out of the woods, because a lot of you that I see that do that then buy back in because you have the FOMO, and now you're double screwed because you've taken profits. Now you've probably got a tax bill, and now you're in a coin that's going down again. So you need that accountability. You need that strategy to think longer term. Otherwise, you're going to be caught up. Crypto has this sickening way of never really letting you win, and that's really, really important. All right. Yeah, and a lot of people have put their money on different exchanges, and it's very scary. Right, cold storage is really, really important. Okay, now we're going to bring on Matt in a second to do some Q&A, but I want to talk about how you can work with us. If this is all sounding good, you're liking what we're talking about, maybe For some of you, you really want to make the most of the rest of this few months that we have less in the bull market. Crypto genuinely is moving faster than ever, right? And as I go through this, if you have any questions, please put in the chat. We'll bring Matt up and talk about anything that we haven't been able to cover today, because there's been a lot we've spoken about. But after this masterclass today, this is a fast track event. We've tried to smash as much as we can in 90 minutes. Markets are moving. Sentiment is shifting, all right? And the bull market is not going to last forever, guys. This is not going to be here forever. If you're not ready, you're going to be left behind. And we cannot cover everything in 90 minutes. Are you kidding? We cannot do this in 90 minutes because there's 400 of you live right now, all right? And all of you are at different stages. And you're super busy. Got your career, got your family, got your life. We cannot help you when you're on a 400-person group call. And that is what we help our clients with, build a personalized program for you. So let's not joke around. Trying to do this alone is so difficult. And like most of you, you're going to take this away, take this information, try and implement on your own. But to try and do the implementation in crypto is so hard because the content will be outdated. This is when round trips happen. This is when bad decisions happen. All right. The other alternative is what we've created is where you get real-time information, updated consistently based on your investment strategy, whether you're young, old, new to crypto, experienced. We work with all different ranges of clients because we have a personalized program, access to you to get access to myself, Travis, the team, guidance and support and implementation to help. Like, what if we actually worked with you to help you with your results? Like, goodness me, imagine that. And yeah, I saw some comments in the chat about YouTubers being good. They are some great YouTubers, but they're not taking responsibility for your success because they get paid regardless. If you watch their videos and you click on their links, they're making money whether they win, lose, or draw. So what if we actually felt an obligation to help you win and stack the deck in your favor, where we give everything that we presented today, last week, all the shortcuts, all the systems, the research, the insights, not just now, but ongoing, way deeper than we could ever could, where we work with you one-on-one. Like, do you actually think at that point we could help you, right, and help you be successful? And that is the Platinum program, all right? And I want to go through this really quickly because we don't have a lot of time. And honestly, there's not a lot of spots for this anyway because we're in a bull market and it's flying out the door. But the Platinum program gives you access to elite level personalized strategy, professional research, high touch investor support all year round, all right? Think of it as your crypto coach, your crypto research desk, a mastermind community, outsourced done for you investment insights, and those brokerage style alerts. Right. And this is where I fast track my success, guys. I'm not a smart guy, right? I figured this out by hiring the best. I had the right team in my corner. I made the big moves. My portfolio exploded. And I was able to be a multimillionaire by the age of 24 because I backed myself and I paid the right experts to help me. And that's where I thought, what if I could extend this gift to others? You know, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I've been very lucky now to be able to travel the world. You know, do this session today as we're traveling, trying to figure out where we're going to do our venue for our Platinum Elevate Day, our 3-day retreat next year. All right. And I'm helping make our clients wealthy, our team, my family. It's amazing because we all are using the same research and tools that we use ourselves. All right. And imagine that, but only if we get paid on success. Like, can you actually see how that's a win-win? This is no bullshit. This is why we built Collective Shift. For the first 4 years, it was so excruciatingly difficult because we don't take paid promotion. We don't do sponsorship. We didn't take any short-term payments by anybody. That is what everyone else does. All right. The only goal we have is to help you build your wealth in crypto, because then if you win, we win. No one has ever done this in crypto. And that's why it's more important than ever. You have a financial advisor for your stocks. You've got an accountant. You've got a doctor. You've got a personal trainer. All right. You've got a buyer's agents for your property. But who have you got for crypto? You've got a couple of guys you subscribe to on YouTube. Right, that's what Platinum solves. You're managing a lot of money in crypto alone. All right. So this is perfect for if you have more than $100,000 in crypto currently, or you're looking to invest more than $100,000 in crypto. You must have more than $100,000 in crypto. If you do not, this is not for you. All right. If you have round trip gains or you're scared of not selling this time, this is for you. If you're busy, if you're juggling a career, a family, a business, a life, and crypto is not your full-time thing, this is for you. If you value being surrounded by a high caliber, serious investor community, this is for you. And if you're here for the long term and you're looking at crypto and Bitcoin as a balanced investment and not a high risk gamble, this is for you. It is not for you if you're not serious about taking this seriously and you're not here for long-term wealth. If you're here for trading, gambling, if you're comparing this with an AI trading bot, literally leave now. This is not for you. If you're not ready to be actioned, if you're not ready to be coached, we do not accept everyone. In fact, we turn most people away. We have an entire team. Reese is one part of that team who take application calls to see if you're a good fit. All right, because we're in a very special position where we can work with clients that we want to work with. And if you're not a good fit, honestly, we're not going to work with you. We're making a lot of money. We're in a bull market. The money's not a problem. We want to work with long-term people where we can make a big impact and we can make a global difference. All right. We are trying to build the most trusted crypto research brand in the world with a wealth-driven community. So how do we do that? Well, the Platinum gives you a one-on-one strategy session with our client success manager. We sit down and understand your goals and where you want to take things. What are your challenges? Where are you at? We actually build a customized program for you based on where you're at. There's so much stuff in our platform. Every month we have monthly forum video calls, right? 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Melbourne time. We have a Platinum WhatsApp community, direct 24/7 access with myself and the analyst. All of our buy and sell alerts that we are doing ourselves. We don't tell you what to do and what to buy and what to sell. We share with you what we're doing and what our research says. All right, you get your own dedicated account manager. You can speak to anytime. You need tax help. You need support with exchanges, OTC, wallets, and you get full access to the research platform. All right. Now, there's a range of bonuses I'm going to share with you in a second based on the fact that we're in a bull market that we don't normally offer that I think you're going to be really excited about for all of you that are on the call today. All right. But before I do that, what I want to share with you is that this is an application process. You can go on our website. You cannot buy this program. We don't sell it. You need to jump on a call with us to see if it's a good fit for both of you, ourselves, and our existing 200 high net worth clients. You're welcome to you're welcome to apply. All right, but there's no guarantee you'll be invited to join. We only work with those that we know truly are a good fit for the group. It's not about being smart. It's just about being a good human. If you're not a good human, you honestly can piss off now because we're not here to work with dickheads. All right. So what are you going to get? You're going to get a one-on-one strategy session with our client success team, a personalized session to understand where you're at. Do you need help with sell strategy? Do you need help with altcoins? Do you don't even know how to buy Bitcoin? Or have you been in this space for 7 years and you just really need a one-on-one session with one of us? Where are you? You'll walk away with a done-for-you plan. Jason was one of those people, all right? Well, he was down 80% when he joined us. He's been in the space since 2017, all right? He joined us. He had a one-on-one strategy session. We turned everything around from a single conversation, up 2.5x. Monthly group forum calls. Skip the noise, skip the mistakes, and get all of the insights back on those monthly calls from the team and I. Ron says it's a game changer. He's a client of ours. Just saved him so much time and stress from following our strategy, leveled him up. Our WhatsApp group, all the fast-moving alpha, all right? Everything in here where you get the alerts and conversations. A lot of our clients get their money just from being in the WhatsApp. Bill made $120,000 from a trade just from in here to lock in profits. I work with him. He's a property investor, helped him with his investment strategy, got in and out of Trump, got in at $9, out at 63, paid for his collectorship fee for a few years, all right? Made $120,000. 24/7 support. Need help? You get access to me and the team all year round, all right? Brady talks about how he gets a fast and helpful response. No bots or influencers anytime he needs. Direct alerts from me when I'm buying and selling, delivered live. When we are investing, we put this in the WhatsApp so you don't have to stay on the charts. Cut through the noise and outsource that decision making. This is where I was selling and updating, these buy and sells, back in the metaverse, was taking out $50,000 chunks. Kent loves that because he gets everything he needs whenever he needs it, and that changed the game for him. Your own dedicated crypto concierge, onboarding, exchanges, tax, everything you need. This is the shortcut. All right. Twitter and YouTube don't give you this. A recent Platinum client, I introduced them to the right exchange, saved $13,000 just from a personal introduction. All right. Exchanges and banks are taking you for a ride. Full research platform. All right. Tools that actually help. Everything you need, curator reports, all the frameworks, everything we mentioned in there, exactly what you need to know when the opportunity lies. Liz is in her retirement. She recently went to Europe on a trip with her husband. All right. She's not a crypto bro. Right. She's not full-time in crypto. We helped her with her portfolio and she talks about how we are a source of truth. Now, I'm going to share with you some exclusive bonuses on top of everything I just mentioned, just for all of you, because we're only a few months left in this bull market. We want you to make the most of it. All right. Now, the standard price is $14,999 US. We don't discount this. In fact, it will continue to go up based on the demand. The demand is so high for this program. That's why we're very selective. And Reese speaks to every single one of you to see if you're a good fit. So you get all of this one-on-one session, 11 monthly group calls, the Platinum WhatsApp, 24/7 access, direct alerts, the account manager, and the research platform. To book a call, we're going to put this link in. Now, it is first in, best dressed if you are approved. It's a 30-minute free call with Reese or one of our member growth team to see if you're a good fit. There's very limited spots. right? So you go in, you pick a time, you put in your details. Please let us know your goals, your challenges, because this helps us understand if you're a good fit. If you're not a good fit, we'll just cancel the call. All right. If you're here for meme coins, if you're here to make $1 million overnight, if you're being an idiot or you're just not a good person, we're going to cancel the call. We just don't have time for you. All right. We're very selective on who we work with. Now, because of our launch of our Miami Mastermind in October, we have some special bonuses we're sharing with all of you today. Now, we shared this back last week, but we know a lot of you didn't have time to watch the replay, so we're extending this for the next 7 days. All right, so based on the launch of our Miami Mastermind, which I'm going to share with you how to get a ticket in a second, as they're very limited spots, to book a call. If you book a call and are approved for Platinum, you're going to get access to our extra special exclusive bonuses that we're going to share today. All right, these aren't gimmicks, they're genuine perks with value. All right. And if you like what you've seen so far, I think the last bonus you're going to really, really love. All right. The first one, there is limited spots for our Miami in-person strategy workshop. Myself, our director of research, Matt, and Travis are presenting our full day workshop. We already have a large number of US clients in the US. All right. And we have a huge influx coming in because of our Miami days. There are limited spots. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in-person strategy, guest speakers, drinks, lunch. You're going to meet other high net worth clients in crypto. You're going to get one ticket as part of your membership for free if you are approved in the next 7 days for our Miami day. All right. Very excited about that. If you are in Australia, you won't get the Miami ticket. You'll get the Sydney ticket in November. All right. Now, there's a lot of people in Australia that are joining up as well. There's very limited spots for this in-person strategy day as well. This is before Australian Crypto Conference in November. All right. The full team will be there as well. Very exciting. You'll get a ticket to that. Very limited spots, so make sure you jump in. All right. I'm not sure if I can play this video, Josh, on the back end. I think we can. All right. I'm going to pull him down. We had 130 of our clients in our in-person day just the other day, all right? We do in-person strategy workshops, guest speakers. We do round tables. We talk about tax. We talk about growth. We talk about portfolio. You get to meet other like-minded individuals. So if you're liking the idea to meet other high net worth clients that are not just crypto bros, that are genuinely business owners, successful people, these in-person days are phenomenal. So we've got another one coming up in Sydney in November, and then our Miami day in October, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So very excited for that. Thank you, Josh. We'll just go back to my slides. We'll get to Q&A in a second, folks. I know there's a lot of questions coming through. Fantastic. Now, there's already a lot of calls coming in, which is really, really exciting. So I can see a bunch coming in, which is phenomenal. Now, the end of year platinum private party ticket. So you'll also get a ticket to our end of year platinum client party. All right. So we're having one in Sydney in November after Strategy Day, as well as Miami. So this is where we have DJs, drinks. You get to meet the whole team and get to celebrate a great year of crypto. You're going to get also an additional monthly pro workshop from myself, Matt, and Simon, our other senior analyst. So that now you're going to get two live sessions every single month as part of our lower tier. You get access to those. All of our member discounts and personal introductions you'll get access to as well. All the shift list token ratings we just showcased on the platform. And most importantly, I think this is probably one of the most valuable things because I love doing them. I also do an absolute bucket load of them. I'm currently doing about 20 to 25 one-on-ones every single week. I do not have the capacity to do many more. All right. So what we're doing is we're offering a one-on-one 30-minute strategy session with me. You'll sit down on a video call. I usually charge, or I used to charge over $5,000 an hour for these. I only now do them in our platinum program. I will not be doing these forever because it is a lot of work and it makes me tired. But I love doing it and I know the results that it creates. So to help all of you, if you are approved for platinum, you'll also get a one-on-one direct session with me where I'll help you with your portfolio. I'll help you with anything you need, answer all your questions on a one-on-one session. And that is only via this offer as well. Now, those spots are very limited, and the faster you end up joining, the quicker you'll get onboarded and get that session with me. But there's so much additional value that you get access to before jumping on that session with me so you can get as much out of that session as possible. All right. And Kieran was one of those guys that I work one-on-one with, helped him be up 2.5x since working with me. Chris, as I mentioned, helped him with his sell strategy. He paid off his house. Alex speaks about having a large crypto portfolio and a busy life. Definitely recommend reaching out to Ben and the team. It's not cheap, but losing a bunch of money is painful. All right. Also Indigo, another one of our US clients. She's a mom, very busy. Saved, doubled her portfolio, saved time from her using, YouTube since being with Collective Shift. So you get all of that, the one-on-one session on top, the in-person strategy workshop either in Miami or Sydney, end of year party, the bonus group coaching calls, the monthly workshops, all the discounts, all within the next 7 days if you are accepted. And as I said, this is just to celebrate our growth of the platinum and the market, and having our Miami day with those limited spots. So you're going to get all of that if you are interested. So you can book a call. The link is in the chat. So you're going to jump on, book in a time to speak with one of the member growth team in 30 minutes or less. We'll see if it's a good fit. We'll work through your goals, your challenges, and we'll go from there. So book in a time. The best thing as well, folks, is we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So for whatever reason it's not for you, all right, we have a no questions asked money-back guarantee. The reason we do that is because we're so confident on the product, all right, that if you join and you realize for whatever reason that it's not for you, you're not getting the results, whatever, no questions asked, 30-day money-back guarantee. The risk is literally on us, all right? For most people, it's tax deductible. You can do it through your company. There's no lock-in contracts. We have that 30-day money-back period. We had 55 clients sign up last month. We had 2 refunds, all right? One is because he didn't get the tax deduction and he just didn't want to do it through his company. And the other one was just he wasn't a good fit for the program. It was more of a trader and full-time, and he went down to our lower tier. All right. So if you get that tax deduction, it really doesn't work out a lot. Ultimately, we're here to try and make sure you get more than your membership fees back. All right. So you can book in. If you have $250,000 in crypto, you're looking at about a 3.6% fee after a tax deduction, $500,000, 1.8%. And if you have $1 million plus, you're looking at just under 1%. All right. So if we can make you more than 1% on $1 million portfolio, you're already ahead. If you're $250,000, we can make you more than 3.6%, you're ahead. If you think we can help you do that over the course of a year, happy days. All right. Kent made $50,000 in his first week. He's been a member with us for 2 years. All right. So many great success stories. You can, over on that page as well, you can actually check out all of those, the features and all the success stories that I've been speaking about today. You can actually watch over on our Platinum page, which you can check out in that link. So what you're going to do is jump over that page. That's where we have all of the, if Josh, you can bring up my screen share here. So you can actually see all of the insights on the success stories. Everything that I mentioned, this includes, right, all the features, all the benefits, and also more importantly, all these success stories that I've been meaning and talking about today. You can actually watch these success stories, clients from all around the world, all of our Trustpilot information. And then down the bottom, you book a call to see if it's a good fit. You go over to the page here, all right, and then you can book in a call to see if it's for you. Please put in how much money you have. If you have less than $100,000 in crypto now, or you're looking to put less than $100,000 in, we do have a lower tier, all right, that will be opening up pretty soon. So you can book in a call. Just make sure you put less than 100,000 in. Once you put this in, all right, if you're not ready now, that's fine. Just let us know. You go to the next page, and that's where you can actually put in the details of your portfolio, all right, and you can start to actually see where we are in terms of the bookings as you come in from the strategy perspective. So we might just go back to the other page, please, Josh. Now, why are we doing? And Matt, we might bring back up you too, because we might do some Q&A soon. Really quickly, why are we doing this? Because we have limited spots. We really want to get you in fast track where you're at. All right. So once you have limited spots, we'll get in, and onboarding probably is going to go back to that 3-month wait list. So if you think you missed the boat, you haven't. People say this all the time. Have I missed the boat? All right. We're not, we're not missing the boat. Bitcoin is continuing to grow. Crypto is just starting. So much room to growth. All right. And there's just so many Trustpilot and success stories talking about how, we're the Web3 bullshit filter. And really the cost, folks, of getting it right versus guessing is so much. Trying to do it on your own can cost you a lot. All right. And that's where a lot of our success stories have come through to help them with their portfolio. And if you're not ready, that's absolutely fine. Have a conversation. We want you to be prepared and get ahead. All right. You don't wait for the storm to come before you build the raft. All right. Get that sorted. And that's where these success stories have really started to pile in. All right. Now, it's just one payment for the first year. All right. And then we have different options for the second year where we have different options. I'm over here in Asia looking for our second year retreat where we have for our second year clients. and there's so many other options we have for future years. Lots of calls coming through, which is absolutely awesome. Welcome, Michael. Just booked in a call. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Tonya. Most important information authentically delivered. Brilliant. All right. Now, shoot in your questions as well, folks. We've got Matt in the room, so we might get to some questions.
Yeah, lots of questions coming through, everyone. We'll get into those and also some questions about the membership. But firstly, yeah, people asking about Chainlink in particular. Emmy here, do I hold until it IPOs on the stock market, or do I keep selling high and buy back when it dives? Yeah, for Chainlink, it's unknown whether it IPOs or if it goes public on the stock exchange. If that were to happen, I would think that's many years in the future. You may be conflating that with these digital asset treasury companies. So I do think Link or Chainlink had a treasury company. Not the Chainlink team set it up. It was some other third party would have set up would have acquired a publicly listed company and have now spun up their own Link treasury vehicle, similar to what you've seen with Strategy or MicroStrategy and all the Ethereum digital asset treasury companies. And there's various other cryptocurrencies now that have affiliated or associated treasury vehicles. So for Chainlink, I personally, I don't hold Link, but if I was, I would not even factor that into my decision making, whether or not it's going to IPO. I would assume that's not happening. If it does happen, it's going to be years into the future. So if our goal is to maximize profits in this bull market, then I would just hopefully just forget about that whole proposition, and focus on getting out of Chainlink later in this bull market. And if you're still a fan and monitoring Chainlink, I think will be important in the next bear market. And then if you are still, have a high level of conviction in Chainlink moving forward, I think the bear market would present a really good opportunity to start accumulating more. So all that's to say, I think a lot of these altcoins and Bitcoin for that matter, but to a lesser extent, I think a lot of these altcoins, again, I still get questions, what are altcoins? They're just any cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin. A lot of these will fall by 70 to 90%, even more than 90% if they're the meme coins or higher risk altcoins. So certainly, Emmy, your plan there of selling in this bull market, I think is really sound. And then buying back after something like Chainlink has very likely fallen in price by at least 50%. I think that makes perfect sense to do so.
Thank you, Matt. There's also a couple other questions rolling in here just around the price. So yeah, if you have less than $100,000, we do have that lower tier. It's a cheaper product, so you can just book in a call as well, and Reese can chat to you about that. And we know that for a lot of people that just being able to get the support from exchanges and different things. So we know there's someone in the chat here. I think it was around exchanges in New Zealand, like Easy Crypto is one. We can do some introductions there. Getting the right exchange is really important as well. Like a lot of people lost a lot of money in FTX in the previous cycle because of the collapse of FTX. So we actually saved multiple members like 7 figures because of the collapse of 2022. So having the right exchanges is super important, and that's where we want to try and help you. So again, you can do this alone. A lot of that information that we shared today is going to be super helpful. It genuinely is. Like, you're going to get so much information and so much knowledge to help. But like ultimately, if you want a proven system, you've seen the results, you've seen the proof, jump over that page. We'd love to help you out. Someone said as well, like, is it a lifetime fee or is it a once-off? So we had the first year, which will help you with what we just spoke about. And then we actually have what's called Platinum Elevate or Platinum Pulse. So for the second year, Grant just joined up for Platinum Elevate. We've got a 3-day retreat internationally in March next year, where you come in together. We do 3 days of crypto, investing, health, wealth. So people that are excited more just about crypto, we have that options for a second year, or we have a cheaper product where you just stay on top of everything. And Grant talks about how we're second to none, and watch and listen to everything that we put out is amazing. So again, this isn't a payment page; it's a chat. We'll go through the goals, assets, experience. Reese will ask you a lot of questions, and you'll still leave with a lot of clarity. And that's the end of the day what we want to help. And again, if you're not at the platinum level, we do have a lower tier which we can walk you through and help you out on. So jump in there. Jaden's been with us for this is his third bull market and talks about how we bag profits every single bull run and made life-changing amounts of money. And the risk is on us. The reason we do this and the reason the incentives are aligned is because we want you to know that we're here to help. And if we don't help, well, then you're going to leave. All right. So I'm going to waste a bunch of time. Our team's going to waste a bunch of time and money, and we want to help you. So for absolutely no reason at all, within the first 30 days, we'll give you your money back. Now, if you're joining up just to take advantage of us and then leave, like we'll get a feeling of that in our member call. So if you're here to just take that and leave, we won't accept you anyway. But for those that genuinely join and it's not for them, that's absolutely fine. The risk is on us. And Peter talks about how we're a perfect service for any investor who wants hands-on tailored information to meet their specific goals. He's been with us for a number of years, and there's so much noise in the space. So yeah, everything you get, what Matt mentioned. As well, from a crypto perspective, you get access to Matt in the WhatsApp. Matt and the analysts are busy. We spend $200,000 a month on our team, helping you all with those research and insights and getting access to it in the WhatsApp group and the monthly session. So you get all of that plus those bonuses for the limited time offer, which is over on the platinum page. So already seeing a bunch of calls come through. Welcome, Virginia. That's great. Tracy, fantastic. Michael, lots of calls coming in, which is brilliant. Reese will be chatting to you very soon, so you can schedule in our call with Reese and the team, and then we'll go from there. Ready when you are. Maddie, some more questions.
Yeah, from JS, if a coin has strong liquidity on exchanges, is it still beneficial to use OTC desks? Yes, in many cases, just because an exchange has strong liquidity, you can often still do pay relatively high fees on the transactional service fee. Plus, there will still be very likely some form of a spread where that exchange like clips off a bit in the back end without sort of more or less like making it seem like they're not doing so. So yeah, a lot of people underrate the accessibility of these OTC desks, by the way, in terms of actually speaking to someone or even just messaging the OTC desk. Obviously, they are incentivized to help you have as much information as possible. So you can often, just ask them questions about, what are your fees? They're very, very happy to jump on a call or email or message you if you want to compare exchanges and OTC providers.
On the lower tier, Kerry, so if you don't have $100,000 in crypto or you're not looking to invest more than $100,000 in crypto, the lower tier is $5,000 US. Now, we currently don't have that cohort open, so you need to book in a call and then we'll launch that just because the amount of demand we have at the moment. There is a lot. So it is a cheaper product, which you can book in a call. Just again, you go through the platinum process, like just say that you got less than $100,000 and then we'll have a chat with you about that. And awesome, more calls coming in. G'day, David. David's booked. Awesome, Lizzie. Fantastic. We're not going to lie, folks. For those who are actually on the call, if you're interested, I just turned my camera off. A monkey literally just came into my hotel room and was eating a banana right here. And I actually lost complete track of what I was talking about because I thought the monkey was going to kill me. So I do apologize. We're back. We're back now. That was probably the craziest thing I've ever experienced. He just ate my entire fruit basket and a cake. So I had to just get rid of him. So just bull market stuff.
Hopefully they can time the cycle. They've heard some good sell strategy advice.
Courtney, just big respect for you being real and not affiliate links. Yeah, 100%. We take the risk on all of our on services because we want to make sure that you're getting the right information, and that comes from the independent piece. So that's great. Appreciate you. Chad, how many clients do we have? So we have 200 clients in the platinum group across the US, Australia, Europe, and we have 1,000 in our lower tier. But we keep it really, really tight. All right, because that's the reason why it's exclusive and we only have a limited number of people we work with is because we want to give you the best results we can. We can't work one-on-one with millions of people or thousands of people. It's not possible, right? So we've been doing this now for 5 years, and there's a lot of work we put into the product to make sure you're getting what getting the most out of the product is I guess what we talk about. And talking about, the business model based on results. So yeah, Josh, the reason it's based on results is because there's no other way we make money. So like we get thrown money all the time from exchanges and affiliate links and stuff. We don't do that. Like if you come in, we want to make sure you're getting results, because otherwise you'll leave and, you'll ask for your money back period. There's no lock-in contracts. We don't make money on profits. There's no 2 and 20. Like if you put your money in a fund, the business model is purely on the research we charge. And if we do a bad job of that, not only are we losing money ourselves because that's what we use to invest, but also our clients are not making money, and then none of us win. So it's a business model built on win-win. Now, if you're not out of the ballpark, if you only have 85,000, Stephen, mate, absolutely fine. If you're looking to grow that, Platinum is great because we can really get that strategy right from the start, and we can really build out those sort of future points. But ultimately, if you have less than $100,000, Platinum isn't for you. That lower tier would be best. And again, we don't have that open right now, but to book a call and get first in access to the lower tier, which is a cheaper product, you can go in and book a call. Just say you've got less than $100,000 in that form, and the team can talk about that.
There's still a lot of questions to get through, Ben. Just aware of the time. I'm just going back to some of the ones that were sent in first, just to.
Actually, Matt, before that, so really quickly, Ricardo just asked a question for you, maybe just around the analyst academic credentials and how our organization is regulated. I'll talk about the regulation part, and I'll let Matt talk about the credentials. So, we're on the front line of waiting for a financial license for crypto in Australia, Ricardo. So unfortunately, crypto isn't a regulated financial product in Australia, but also we have clients, predominantly in the US, and setting up the right frameworks for us is ultimately about the research we put out. So we don't provide one-on-one financial advice. We're a research firm at the end of the day, education, but at a global level, there's different jurisdictions for different people around the world. But yeah, one of the things we really maintain compliance on, and is really making sure that there's the trust and transparency is front end. So we have a full trust and transparency policy where all of our team adhere to. You can see all of our tokens and all of our holdings at any one time. We update that weekly, and we want to make sure that all the information is trusted at a level where we don't do affiliate links. There's no pay promotion. It's all very independent, and then our team is highly credentialed in crypto specifically, but there's also different backgrounds that people have, because crypto is a very new niche asset class. So Matt, do you want to talk about a little bit about the analysts briefly?
Yeah, sure. Like back when Simon, our senior analyst, and myself, back when we got started in crypto, there wasn't any academic credentials or any courses on blockchain fundamentals. Of course, we've both been to university, as is typical in crypto. Everyone has various backgrounds. Simon's, in his case, is in engineering. Mine is in business. Both went through university, but I suppose the more so crypto background and knowledge is more so just done through blood, sweat, and tears of years and thousands of hours of being tapped into crypto and investing personally. These days, like I'm personally looking to hire. Well, I am hiring 2 more analysts for our team at the moment, and there are applicants who are coming through with actual university degrees in blockchain, which is great to see. That's not the be all and end all. I still look for experience, whether it's in finance or other markets, is always handy. But ultimately, I think what is the premium and the most important thing for any crypto analyst is to have in personal investment experience, because that will help you understand the market cycles and what makes a really solid altcoin or project likely to stand out from the others. So yeah, more credentials are coming along, thankfully, but there weren't any around when I got started.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt. We've got another 10 or so minutes for questions here. I just want to quickly say thanks to all the calls coming in. Ola, Michelle, Michael, Tracy, Virginia, David from Canada, which is awesome. Lizzie, we've got Maxil, Ashish, Julie. Fantastic, everyone. Welcome. Reese will be looking forward to catching up with you guys. Matt, do you have some more questions rolling in?
Yeah. Let's get through some of these. Thanks, everyone. Josh, do you guys ever sell out of your Bitcoin completely? Given institutional adoption, we are now seeing an inflation. Is the 4-year cycle over? So 2 questions there. I personally have never sold out of my Bitcoin completely. I know Ben doesn't as well, and people on our team, they have sort of long-term stacks. I think historically speaking, sure, if you like what we were talking about earlier, everything's hindsight is 2020. It would have been nice to sell out at the perfect top, but I think it's always you run the risk. If you ever sell out completely of Bitcoin, you run the risk of it, bucking the trend and some external sort of catalyst really driving prices higher. And, you could get confused in your head of knowing if you should buy back in or not. So I like to keep it simple and try to maximize profits in the altcoins. Selling out 100% of all of my altcoins is my plan. This bull market, I will be selling some of my Bitcoin. Depending on how high prices goes, I will be selling more of my Bitcoin, but certainly not looking to sell at 100%. And to your second question there, Josh, just quickly, I suppose we'll find out in about November or October if the 4-year cycle is going to play out again. If it sort of continues into next year, I think we can officially sort of say that the 4-year cycle, which, as I always explain and remind members, the 4-year cycle has really only happened twice. It's a pattern of 2, very small sample size, and it's very coincide or correlated with global liquidity movements. So we'll find out very soon. There is a strong arguments for it, the bull market going into next year, which we've explained with members in various content recently. Some of those in terms of inflation, and other reasons potentially heading into next year, like Trump being pro crypto, and there's some others as well. We'll see heading into next year. But for me, I'm personally still looking to sell, assuming we get a big run before the end of this year. I'm still planning to sell a lot of my altcoins, towards the end of this year. So yeah, we're constantly having discussions about that. And it's a great question there, Josh.
If there's any more questions as well, folks, just around anything around the business, Matt and I, the membership, crypto, there's a lot of questions that unfortunately just with the 300-400 people live, we probably won't be able to get through everything, but feel free just to fire them off. We'll try and do a quick rapid round here, Matt.
We do a lot of tax. We work, we're not financial advisors, so we can't really work with you personally, but certainly we have a lot of partners being in the industry. Ben and I each for 8 years, plus our teams, contacts and network. We do work with various service providers that can really help you, optimize your portfolio strategy and personalize it towards you. So tax, of course, we have various, networks in that. Crypto Tax Australia is one that can go to that next level of helping you structure and meet all your goals. So yes, to answer your question, we have a lot of partners that handle that space, but we're not allowed to.
And we also have a lot of we can share experience shares, but we bring on experts as well. So we had a bonus session recently with tax expert Adrian. So we bring on different experts from different fields where these are bonus sessions on top of the normal month-to-month sessions that you get access to, and all the recordings as well. So we also have a lot of partners where we do introductions from a discount perspective. So we do partnerships where you get free 30-minute consultations with different tax professionals and different exchanges where you can speak to them as a platinum client, the different benefits. So sorry, we missed the webinar. Joanne, how do I get in touch with you? So you'll get a copy of the replay, Joanne, but if you are interested in working with us, you can book in a call on our platinum page, but there will be a recording available afterwards for a little bit, as Kyle said there. So Julie, the lower tiers include pretty much what you're seeing on the platform. So you get access to the research platform, the shift list, the research. You just don't get access. There's no WhatsApp. There's no additional monthly sessions. There's no in-person events. You don't get one-on-ones. You don't really get access to any of the higher level items, but you do get access to our research platform, which can be very beneficial if you're willing to just give this a go on your own. And also if you want to start on the lower tier and then work your way up we obviously discount the fee that you paid on the lower tier as well. So again, you can jump on a call with one of our team and we can walk you through that as well if that's of interest.
From Kyle around ETH predictions. In terms of BTC, BTC, I personally think tops out around 180,000 US dollars. For ETH, I've always sort of had that around, the $6,000 mark or so. With members, they would long understand that I'm a big advocate for having strong targets, but being able to adjust them when necessary, and that when necessary is the hardest part. But for a while, I've had mine, selling, throughout the 5,000s up towards the $6,000 mark US dollars for ETH. That's what works best for me personally. I know people who have a lot higher targets than that. I also have people and members I've spoken with have already taken profits because they've already sort of achieved their goals and just wanting to lock in profits. So even though I have my own targets, some people I've spoken to are positioning for ETH to sell at around 8,000, 9,000 US dollars, this year. For them, it might work, but for me, I still think in the 5,000s to 6,000 for ETH is what works best for me. So hopefully that can happen.
Nadia, if you're less, you want to invest around 25,000, 30,000 from New Zealand, no worries. Look, the only way to get access to our programs at the moment is a call, because again, the reason we do that is because we don't like to work with everyone. Now, you're from New Zealand, so I'm going to assume you're actually a nice person, Nadia, so I appreciate that. We will have more information on the lower tier in the coming weeks where you can potentially fast track that process. But at the moment, the fastest way to get access to that is to book a call. You can also just message us on our website. If you go to our website and on the bottom right-hand corner, send our chat a message. We might be able to speak to you there. But yeah, the fastest way is definitely to jump on a call.
Karam, about buying back in. Yeah, we're big advocates. When we talk about buying back in, that's certainly in the bear market. So, maybe later in 2026, maybe in 2027, depending on what happens between now and then. Knowing when to buy back in is certainly the inverse. So monitoring for trends on sentiment. When is sentiment sort of bottoming out? We can monitor that by exchange volumes, website visits on various CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap website visits, things like that. But more importantly, probably fundamentals. As Ben showed before, my member post at the end of 2022, where I explained when I'm starting to buy back in, I made that decision because based on my sort of time and knowledge in the crypto space, I sort of had seen all the collapses throughout 2022. I had seen FTX be, in my view, was the final sort of domino to fall once that happened. And I saw the price not really go down that strongly. When you would think a top 3 exchange in the world collapses, Bitcoin only fell by about 15 or 20%. So for me, that was a really strong signal that, okay, everyone who was going to sell has left a long time ago. For me, that was my green light to sort of get back into the market. So yeah, when we talk about buying back in, it's that longer term investment mindset in the bear market. And that's where the money's made, to be honest. I tell people who are interested in crypto, like, how do you make money? What's the easiest way to make money in crypto? All of my best investments in crypto over the years have been made in the bear market. So Bitcoin has gone up just 10x from this cycle low to where we are now. Solana, which bottomed out at around 8 to 10 US dollars, I got in at around $20 and explained why I was doing so. Again, that investment has done extremely well. Yes, there are momentum plays like what we spoke about earlier in the bull market. That's where we really capitalize on short-term investing. But the best sort of money, in my opinion, and from experience, has been made in the bear market. So hopefully that answers your question there.
Thank you, Matt. We might need to wrap up there, folks. Thank you so much. For those that missed out, the replay will be sent via email, Joanne. So yeah, whatever email you use to sign up to this event, you'll get an email too. It will only be up for a few days. Obviously, the market moves very quickly, and we want all of you to have the most up-to-date information. And all those exclusive bonuses that we shared today are obviously only for those that are book a call within the next 7 days. and then approve. So there's a lot of questions we obviously didn't get time to answer to. We are sorry. That is something we definitely help on our programs. We also put a lot of information out for free online. So if you are, still like looking to get a bit more of an insight into who we are, I put a lot of content out on YouTube, so you can check out some of my videos. I did a good video recently, revealing my portfolio. We do a bit more behind the scenes stuff there. We've also got the podcast that we do, which is called Ben and Berg. So each and every week, Berg's our COO and myself do weekly podcasts where we talk about the market. So if you like podcasts, go check that out. Matt also posts some great information on Twitter as well. And we have our free newsletter, which you get access to as well every single Friday. So make sure you check that out as well. But thank you everyone for jumping in. Appreciate everyone. It was great. Great to see you all. And hopefully we'll see you again very soon on our future sessions. And also welcome to all the people booking a call. Thank you, Grant. Just booked one in as well. Reese going to be very busy, Matt. Thank you again, Matt. And we'll see you very soon.
Lovely. Thanks, everyone.